Welcome to the Manic Metallic podcast, where we respect fashion's past, analyze fashion's present, and get excited about fashion's future. I'm Liberty Gaither, founder and creative principal of fashion media company Manic Metallic. Several times per week, I'll bring you episodes about exciting things happening in fashion, discussion about current issues facing the industry, and the places and people that have made the fashion industry great. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter and follow us on Instagram at the Manic Metallic Podcast and at Manic Metallic, both linked in our show notes. Now, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Manic Metallic Podcast. I'm Liberty, your host. Today's Monday, which means that we're going to be talking about 3 things that have excited us here at Manic Metallic about the fashion industry recently. We're going to touch on Copenhagen Fashion Week's Fall-Winter 2022 season first, which ran last Tuesday through Friday, February 1st through 4th. The thing that strikes me about Copenhagen Fashion Week is that, despite the reputation of Scandinavian fashion being clean, sophisticated, and comfortable, Copenhagen designers always manage to create work that is full of color, joy, and creativity. It was no different this season. Neon green made a very loud appearance during those 4 days, both in the collections and the street style. Pinks were also a popular choice. A few other commonalities that we saw other than the exuberant colors, and we looked at all 30 shows online, were skimpy knitwear pieces, baggy jeans, high socks, ski fashion, dresses styled over pants, cargo pants, and pleats. In terms of Copenhagen's designers, of course you have the ones that can always be counted on to turn out a good collection, like Baum Ferdgarden, Steny Goya, Henrik Vibskov, and by Malene Berger. And they did their usual stellar work, but there are quite a few newer and younger standouts that I'd like to point out. Jade Kropper is someone who you should look up online. She's a Swedish designer that showed up at Copenhagen Fashion Week, and she's gotten a rousing reception after these shows. Rightfully so. She uses waste fabrics, dead stock, and recycled material in her work, and does limited edition drops of her collections. Her Fall 2022 collection had a moody vibe, with mostly deconstructed blues and neutrals. You should definitely keep an eye on her. Something else to note with Jade is that Copenhagen Fashion Week partnered with the Swedish Fashion Council for the Fall 2022 collections in order to support young Nordic designers, and Jade won a talent spot to be able to present in Copenhagen. Emily Roghove, who designs A. Roghove, started her knit brand in 2019 after stints at Cecilie Bonson and Mark Kinley Dominotan. The brand is already being sold in multiple shops across Japan and online on sites like Sense and Nordstrom. With regard to the brand's Fall-Winter 2022 collection, who knew that you could do knits with that many different techniques? The collection certainly had its hits and misses, but Emily's potential could be seen clearly. Division, another brand, was founded in 2018 by Nana and Simon Wick, a brother-sister duo. They're a brand that likes to experiment, and they've taken a keen interest in NFTs and the metaverse. Their Fall-Winter 2022 collection had a patchwork streetwear bent about it. Kearney Milk was started in 2019 by Marie Mark, and Katrina Wittig joined on soon after. Both designers have a background in dance, which informs their interest in silhouettes that cling to the body. There were better collections by other designers than this particular output by Kearney Milk at Copenhagen Fashion Week, but I still give another chance to them to see what they can do next season. Also, the Kardashians like them, so they're likely going to be successful. Don't let all of that color and transparent knitwear fool you, though. There were still brands like Love Child 1979 and Mark Kinley Dominotan creating clothing that had good clean lines and a sense of understated elegance. A couple more things to note about Copenhagen Fashion Week. Copenhagen Fashion Week partnered with TikTok this year by letting 4 creators on the platform take over its TikTok channel to put Scandinavian designers showing in Copenhagen Fashion Week in front of a new audience. That partnership will continue into the spring-summer 2023 season. Copenhagen Fashion Week also set up a comprehensive set of standards that they call the 2023 Sustainability Requirements. which are a broad yet specific set of guidelines that Copenhagen Fashion Week designers must meet in order to participate. Sustainability is essentially a lifestyle in Copenhagen, and they are consistently a leader in sustainability with regards to fashion. Something that I truly appreciated about Copenhagen Fashion Week is that there were only 30 shows total. 21 physical shows, 7 digital shows, and 2 digital shows with physical screenings. Fashion weeks in the foremost attention-grabbing fashion capitals can be so full of designers that it's impossible to get one's mind around all of the designers' work. Also, there were, for the most part, mostly 40 looks or less in each show. Manic Metallic has advocated for there to be less looks in each collection shown during various fashion weeks. There can be no sustainability without designers creating less product. Lastly, the size inclusivity was great to see on the Copenhagen runways. Copenhagen Fashion Week honestly seems to me like one of the more well-run, equal, and sustainable fashion weeks out there. I want to take a quick moment to tell you about Manic Metallic's recent product. Do you like fashion? Does it matter to you beyond just entertainment value? Well, Manic Metallic is a fashion media company that creates audio, written, and video content that supports our ethos that fashion is an art, discipline, and societal force for change. We recently published a fashion ebook titled Alternative Fashion Capitals, a survey of 20 cities of emerging thought leadership. In it, we detail 20 cities beyond just New York, Milan, London, and Paris that have thriving fashion scenes, and we dive deep into what they have to offer, including shopping districts, specific places to shop, brands, events, fashion organizations, fashion publications, and universities and colleges. These 20 cities have a lot to offer the world with regards to the fashion industry, and Manic Metallic is determined to share their stories. We'd love for you to consider purchasing this fashion ebook and for you to join our growing community via our website, social media, newsletter, and podcast. For more information on the ebook and where it can be purchased, please visit manicmetallic.com/products. We look forward to hearing from you. Now, back to the podcast. The second thing exciting us at Manic Metallic is the use of fungi in the creation of fashion. Fashion has been discussing fungi as a material for fabric innovation for at least a few years now. But that discussion has gotten to a fever pitch this past year. Perhaps because as the sirens begin to get louder for climate change, the need to take action to save the planet becomes all the more important. Mushrooms seem to be everywhere, even on last year's runways. MycoWorks, for example, is a California-based biotech company that creates vegan leather derived from fungi. The company turns mycelium, which are threads from the roots of mushrooms, into a material that mimics animal-based leather. The material is mushroom-based, but MycoWorks creates its materials from engineered mycelium cells. Mushroom leather can be hard or soft, can be dyed different colors, and stands up very well to leather in terms of strength. It's naturally antimicrobial, which helps if one has sensitive skin. Brands like Hermes and Stella McCartney are already jumping on board with this new material. Hermes works with MycoWorks, and Stella McCartney gets her mycelium from Bolt Threads, a MycoWorks competitor. Companies like EcoVative are trying to make mycelium leather more accessible, because MycoWorks targets the luxury market primarily. EcoVative is going to be working with companies such as Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger, owned by PVH, in creating that accessibility. My view is that the fact that we've gone from a mindset of all leather, which emits massive amounts of carbon into the environment via livestock, to let's all wear pleather, which can be highly toxic itself, to let's create leather out of fungi, which actually help to hold carbon into soil, making them a great environmentally friendly product, is amazing. If there's anything that you're curious about with mushroom leather, we've left a few links below in the show notes for you to get more info on it. The third and last thing that is exciting us in fashion is the brand threeASFOUR. threeASFOUR has released a made-to-order collection titled Kundalini that features a selection of the pieces from their Spring-Summer 2022 collection of the same name. To give you a bit of background on that collection from last season, when they held their Kundalini show last September, they grouped the looks into 7 sections, with each corresponding to a different chakra. See the link in our show notes for more on what chakras are if you're not sure. threeASFOUR, founded in 2005, collaborated on this collection with Kornet Digital, a company based in Israel that has these eco-friendly digital printing solutions that they use, as well as on-demand clothing and textile production. By partnering with Kornet Digital, threeASFOUR can produce these items in a made-to-order fashion. threeASFOUR is a brand that's won a Cooper Hewitt National Design Award, 2015 in their case, which is very prestigious in the United States. In terms of their willingness to both embrace technology and remain rooted in the forces of nature and spirituality in designing their clothing, the brand is one of America's most compelling talents, and Manic Metallic looks forward to continuing to follow their career to see what amazing things that they accomplish. That's going to be the end of this episode. Tune in tomorrow for another Who Is episode. See you later. Thanks for listening. If you got value out of today's episode, it'd mean a lot to me if you'd rate, review, and subscribe to the Manic Metallic podcast. Be sure to tell all of your fashion-inclined friends and coworkers about the podcast as well. This would really help us to spread our message about fashion being an art, discipline, and force for societal change. And don't forget to stay in touch with us by subscribing to the Manic Metallic newsletter and following us on Instagram. Feel free to reach out to us through either of those means. I'd love to hear from you. I'll link these all in the show notes. You're the best. See you next episode.